I smiled, like I agreed while. Everything inside me shifted. He said, I didn't forget. I just didn't think it mattered. And the room laughed. Not because it was funny, because they'd already decided that that's what I was. A woman who cared too much about things that didn't matter to him. I kept my face calm. I didn't argue. I just looked at the candle on the table, watched the flame flicker in the draft from the open window, saw the reflection of his face smiling, certain, amused and I opened a loop inside. Nothing would be the same. Comment your city, subscribe, and hit the bell. Back then, I still believed effort would earn respect. I worked 2 jobs to save for our wedding. My hands were calloused from typing, but I didn't mind. The work felt real. It wasn't just income, it was dignity. I met him at a bookstore on a rainy Tuesday. He was holding a copy of The Great Gatsby, raindrops running down his collar, eyes scanning the shelves like he was searching for something deeper than words. We didn't talk much at first, just exchanged books, then coffee. Then dinner. I remember the smell of wet wool, an old paper on his coat. That's when I knew this was someone who lived in quiet thought. I planned every anniversary. I made playlists. I baked cakes. I saved receipts. I wanted him to feel seen, to feel loved. I didn't know then that love could be a currency he refused to accept. I placed that moment where I keep things I can't unknow. It started with a missed call. I was at the office, finalizing a transfer. The phone buzzed his number. I answered, heard laughter in the background, a voice I didn't recognize. Then silence. I hung up. Later, he told me it was his brother, but the tone was different. Flat, like he'd rehearsed it. I didn't ask again. I just made a note in my journal. Call at 3:17 p.m. Voice in background. No name given. I filed it under things I don't need to know. But I did. I always do. I've spent years building trust like Bricksteady, one after another. I paid half the mortgage, handled all the utilities, fixed the leaky faucet before he even noticed. I cooked dinner 3 times a week, always the same thing. Lentils, rice, vegetables. He liked routine. So did I. I thought consistency meant care. I thought care meant belonging. I didn't realize how much those quiet rituals would cost later. We had a rhythm. Every Sunday, we walked to the market together. He'd buy oranges, I'd grab bread, we'd sit on the bench near the river, watch the ducks, eat our lunch in silence. The sun fell just right across his face at 2:45 p.m. Always. I used to think that was love. Not grand gestures, just presence. The way he'd leave his coffee mug on the counter, handle facing out, like he expected me to refill it. The way I'd find his sweater folded neatly on the chair after he wore it. I didn't know those things were being cataloged elsewhere. I didn't know they were being erased. It's funny how imbalance hides in everyday chores until it doesn't. The first time I noticed it was during a family gathering. His parents came over. I brought the appetizers. He brought nothing. When his mom asked if I was okay with cooking, I said yes. He said she likes doing it. I didn't correct him. He just nodded. But I saw the look in his father's eyes like I was a favor, not a partner. Then came the money. I paid for the car repairs. He mentioned it once. Then never again. I paid for the new fridge, he said. Good job. No thanks. No recognition. I started keeping receipts. Not because I wanted to fight, because I needed to remember. I kept them in a folder labeled household. I updated it every Friday night. I didn't tell anyone. I just documented, like I was tracking weather patterns. One day, I found him checking the bank app. He saw me, looked away. I didn't say anything, but I locked the account. Changed the password. Not to hide. To protect. To protect. I didn't want to be the one who broke the silence, but I couldn't let it stay broken either. Their laughter finished the sentence I'd been avoiding. It happened at his sister's wedding. I was standing near the bar, holding a drink. Everyone was laughing. Someone said, "Hey, isn't that the girl who plans every holiday?" A pause. Then more laughter. I turned. He was watching me. Not with concern, with amusement. I looked down at my glass. The ice clinked against the side. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stood there, letting the silence grow. The room got quieter. People stopped laughing. Someone cleared their throat. I took a sip. Slow.com. Then I said, "Yes, that's me," and walked away. I didn't see his face after that, but I felt it. The shift, the weight of being seen as less than, as temporary, as expendable. By morning, everything would be exactly where it belonged. I went home that night and opened the folder. I pulled out the land deed, the bank statements, the receipts, the emails. I scanned them, sent copies to a lawyer. I changed the locks, not because I was afraid, because I was done. I called my sister, told her what happened. She said, "You should have known." I said, "I didn't." But I did now. I called a real estate agent, asked about selling the land. She said it was mine to sell, I said, and he's the one who sold it. She paused. I said, "No, it's ours." She said, "But you're the one who paid for it." Then said, "That's not possible." I said, "Then explain why the title is in his name alone." I didn't yell, and when she didn't answer, I hung up. I just waited. I booked a flight, left a note on the kitchen table. Short. Clean. I'm leaving. Take care of yourself. I didn't wait for a reply. I didn't need one. Reality is loud when you can prove it. The call started the next day. His mother called, said I was ungrateful. Said I had no right. I showed her the bank transfers, the dates, the amounts. She said, "But you gave it to him." I said, "No, I gave it to us." I sent her the email where I wrote, "This land is ours. We'll build a life here." She didn't respond. His brother called. Said I was ruining the family. I sent him the contract, the signed documents, the proof that I'd paid 90% of the cost. He said, "He's your husband. You have to compromise." I said, I did, for 10 years. Then I ended the call. They tried legal threats. Side pre metacooldenati, take the land. I showed them the original agreement, the notarized form, the witness signatures. I said, "You don't own this. You borrowed it." I didn't gloat. I just stated facts. And slowly, the story changed. From she's selfish to he misrepresented ownership. From she left to she was pushed. Peace makes time move differently. The neighbors started asking questions. The lawyer confirmed. The sale was invalid. The land was mine. I didn't celebrate. I just packed my bags. 5 years later, I live in a small house. By the coast, I run a landscaping business. I work mornings. Walk the beach at sunset. I don't check my phone after 8 p.m. I don't follow social media. I don't care what they're doing. I know they're still in the same house, still fighting, still pretending. I read about it once. A news article. Local couple splits after property dispute. I didn't click. I didn't care. I just sat on my porch, watched the waves, smelled the salt air, and remembered the taste of that wine glass, the one I held when they laughed. I don't hate them. I don't pity them. I just understand. Am not the pasture year, looking at the deed. They chose a version of love that didn't include me, and I chose a life that does. I saw him last week, at the grocery store. He was buying eggs. I was in line behind him. Same hair, that same clothes. Same posture. The confidence. But something was gone. He didn't see me. I didn't speak. I just watched him. I walked past him. Didn't look back. I didn't need to. I already knew. The certainty, Dot. The ease. I left the door closed, not with anger, with clarity. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I just stopped playing a game I never agreed to, and that's enough. The land was mine. Always. I never said that aloud, not until the lawyer handed me the official notice. Title restored, sale void. Ownership transferred back to original buyer. Primera, esta red, italiano. Felt the paper in my hands. Cold, real, final. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just walked to the window, opened it, and let the wind carry the document into the yard, like a letter delivered to a ghost. I didn't need to prove it anymore. The world already knew. But I still dreamt of that night, the one where I stood frozen in front of the mirror, trying to fix my tie, knowing I was about to walk into a room full of people who didn't see me. Not really. They saw the man who paid the bills, the one who cleaned the house, the one who stayed quiet, but not the one who owned the land, not the one who built the foundation. I woke up gasping, sweat on my forehead, heart pounding. I reached for the photo on my nightstand. One of us planting the first tree on the property. Her smiling. Me grinning. Sunlight filtering through the leaves. I touched her face. Then mine. I whispered. I didn't fail. I just stopped believing. Because the truth is I wasn't wrong. I was just too kind. For 10 years, I fed the illusion. I funded the lie. I paid for the meals, the groceries, the rent, the repairs, the holidays, the birthdays, the vacations. I bought her a ring. I paid for her sister's wedding. I covered her father's medical bills. I did it all with a smile, with pride, with the belief that love meant sacrifice, that partnership meant giving without expecting. But I forgot one thing. Love doesn't require surrender, and generosity shouldn't come with a price tag. I started noticing the cracks earlier than I admit. Small things, the way she'd use my credit card, then forget to pay it. The way she'd cancel plans with me to go out with friends, then accuse me of being too clingy. The way she'd answer the phone with "Hi, Annie," when it was her cousin calling. The way she'd laugh at my jokes, then repeat them to others like they were hers. I didn't confront her. I didn't argue. I just wrote it down in a notebook. Under headings: financial discrepancies, boundary violations, emotional withdrawal. I didn't write to punish. I wrote to survive. And then came the call. She said, "I sold the land. It's better this way. We're starting fresh." I didn't panic. I didn't shout. I said, "Okay." Then I walked to the computer, opened the file, found the receipt, the bank transfer, the date, the amount, this signature, everything. I called the lawyer, sent the evidence, waited. 3 days later, the title was reversed. I didn't tell her. I didn't need to. I just posted a single photo online, a shot of the land, green and untouched, with the caption, "Some things aren't gifts. They're investments, and I've always been good at returns." The comments flooded in. Some supported me. Some blame me. Some called me cold. But most said the same thing. I've been there. And that's when I realized I wasn't just reclaiming land. I was reclaiming myself. Now, I wake up to I plant flowers. I drive a truck with my name on the door. I don't owe anyone anything. Not my ex. Not her family. Not society. Am free. And when I pass by that old house still standing, still crumbling, I don't feel anger. I feel peace. Because I know now, the only thing worth owning isn't property. It's your own truth. I'm not the pasture looking at the deed, and I've already signed it.